Good morning. Today is Wednesday in May. I don't remember the date. 8, thank you. That's what I need my board for. And we are here at the Council on Aging, and we are in the Blue Room. We used to call this the library room, and now we call it the Blue Room. So if anybody wants to find us, this is where we are. We're going to, it's 10 o'clock, and we are going to have a moment of silence. We're going to open the meeting, first of all.
Yeah, can I make a motion to open the meeting?
Thank you. And a second, thank you. And we're going to have a moment of silence. I guess that there was a recent shooting in Colorado, a school shooting again. Some child has passed on, and others are in critical condition. And that's who our moment of silence will be for: the parents, the families, the children, and the school system.
And also North Carolina shooting last week where one of the victims is from Massachusetts.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's Sudbury someplace.
We need lots and lots of prayers. Okay, so we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, we have the minutes for the April 16th meeting. And Paulette, would you like to read them, please?
Sure. The minutes of the April 16th meeting. Present, Linda Gilbo, Chair. Marie Hardy, Pauline Texera, Paulette Hudson, Gerard Bergeron, Co-Chair, Patty Chiget-Madursky, and I forgot Heather, and Heather Sylvia. Absent, Richard DeBalsi and Marie Sampson. The meeting was called to order at 10 a.m. A motion was made by Paulette Hudson to open the meeting, and it was seconded by Pauline Texera. Minutes of the February meeting were unavailable. Old business. The indoor farmers market held on April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. was a great success. The South Coast Band was present, and about 20 vendors were present. The Buzzards Bay Coalition had a walking tour available to those who wanted the tour. Michael Fester, AARP State Director, presented the selectmen with the age-friendly certificate, which recognizes our town as an age-friendly community. This designates our community as committed to help our older population to stay healthy and active. New business. May 10th will be a health fair from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Fairhaven Recreation Center, sponsored by Coastline Elderly Services and the Acushnet Council on Aging. Volunteers are needed. There will be approximately 110 vendors, and a free lunch will be provided to those who attend. Yoga classes will be held at 8:30 on Monday mornings. The cost will be $4. The last Thursday of the month, Ellie Higgins will be having a women's drum rhythm circle. The cost is $4 and starts at 1 p.m. Drums provided. We wish to thank Ruth Fortier for her donation of the large projection screen. Gerard Bergeron updated the board on the new Wi-Fi connection, which has increased the speed enormously. Cameras are being installed inside and outside the building for the safety of our seniors. These renovations are made possible by the $125,000 the Acushnet Council on Aging received at the annual town meeting. May 18th, the New Bedford Garden Club will hold their annual plant sale from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Acushnet's annual art show will be held on June 1st from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sunday, June 2nd from 12 noon until 5 p.m. Pat Madursky was named volunteer for the month of April. We also want to thank her for being with us 1 year. She has been a great help to our seniors. We wish to thank every volunteer who assists Team Acushnet, the Acushnet Library, Memory Cafe, and the Buzzards Bay Coalition for all their hard work. Thank you, Heather Sylvia, for the positive morale that you have brought to the Acushnet Council on Aging. As there is no further business, a motion to adjourn was made by Paulette Hudson and seconded by Pauline Texera. The meeting was adjourned at 10:25 a.m. The next meeting will be May 8th, 2019 at 10 a.m. Respectfully submitted, Paulette Hudson.
May I have a motion to accept All the secretaries accept, thank you, Marie, and a second. Thank you, Pauline. On the old, does anyone have anything to add to the minutes? No, perfect, good. Old business. Building coverage for the Acushnet Annual Art Show. And the board usually are the people who volunteer. Now that evening, I think it's Heather will be here.
I can cover the Friday, that's not a problem, that's 5 to 8.
You mean Friday or Saturday?
On the Friday, I don't mind covering that. Saturday, we need someone to open at 7:45 a.m.
I can do that.
and someone to close at 8:15 p.m. And on Sunday, we need someone to open around 11:30 a.m. and close at 6:15 p.m.
Now, do the volunteers have to stay?
No. So Pauline, we may need to borrow your key.
Oh. Okay, so it's 3 days?
It's 3 days, yeah, they bring in the artwork on the Friday night.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's no showing Friday, they just kind of
Okay.
set it, so I don't mind being here for that, we'll be at the
Okay.
raffle, so I can run over.
Why don't I open and close on the Saturday?
Well, actually, how about if I close on the Saturday?
All
I'm
right?
gonna get Newport Playhouse on
Okay.
Sunday, so I can't do the Sunday, but I'll
Okay.
help out the Saturday night.
And I can help out closing on Sunday evening at 6:15.
And it's right at 6:15.
I
It's
can
there.
close.
Okay.
Okay, so then why don't I know that I will be opening both days?
Are you sure?
So, and so we got Pat, we got Heather, okay. Good. Well, yeah, that works out well.
And then Paula, you're gonna handle the plant sale, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Linda and I.
Yeah,
Okay.
And Marie.
Yeah.
Okay.
and we go for
Just
breakfast
breakfast.
first. Yes, nice early breakfast.
Well, we'll go to meat raffle before we open for the art show, so see, it's a trend.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Under old business, number 2, the Coastline Annual Health Fair, and it's co-sponsored by the Acushnet COA this year. And it's this Friday, May 10th. I don't know if we'll be on TV by then. We've mentioned this before, but May 10th is my sister's birthday. Yes, just happy birthday, Ann. No, she can't see this, but yeah. Okay. So, yes, Coastline Health Fair. There will be free lunches for those who attend, 110 vendors. It's over in Fairhaven, correct, at their
Recreation
center,
Center.
And if
recreation
anyone
center.
wants to donate a few hours of volunteer time, we can use as many hands in the kitchen as possible.
Yep, I'll be there.
Thank you.
And I'll be here.
Yes, you're covering the building department.
Okay. All right, under new business. Town meeting is coming up May 13th at 7 o'clock. It will be at the Acushnet Elementary School, I think. Is it the Ford Middle School or the elementary school?
It says right on the front.
What middle-
It's the middle
isn't
school.
it?
At the middle school.
Middle
It's
school.
the middle school.
Okay.
I just provided everybody with copies of the
Yeah,
warrant,
thank
the
you.
articles,
Oh, there we go.
so that we're going well prepared.
So if you go to the meeting, you get this really nice book, you know, and complete with a picture of the town.
And we will put a sign up
Yes.
to remind residents up front, in front of the building today.
Yeah.
We'll put that up.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and we do have it near the police station, the sign.
Is there anything having to do with the council that will be held at
Just
the meeting?
our general budget has already been approved by the selectmen and finance committee, and just needs that final vote. So no, we don't have any articles, just town meeting.
Oh, good. We'll see what we
Yeah,
can do.
we're quiet this year.
Okay. So please come to the town meeting and support the different departments of your town. Strategic planning. The board will discuss its standing committees and the addition of committees if needed. The board will also begin to evaluate programming, what works, what doesn't work, and there will be some discussion. And I think that we were given homework. And I hope people brought their homework back with them.
Finished, but I will turn it in.
Actually, no, you have to turn it in, it's not, we're not grading, we're just gonna talk about it.
Oh, okay.
We're just gonna talk about it.
I'm gonna go get mine. Mine's
Okay.
in my office.
All right. Oh, I didn't know there was a back.
I had the same problem.
Yeah, so Linda only gets 50% on this one, but when we get there, we can discuss it. When Pat comes back, I'll just
You
kind of
wouldn't
read
heal
the
that
different areas.
And I left mine home. Yeah.
Can you hand that down to Maurice, so you know what we're talking about?
Okay, let's talk about strengths for a moment. what does the COA do well? I think we have many programs here, and they're varied programs for people of many interests. And we also give fantastic, these two ladies right here, fantastic service to our clients. The Shine program, the outreach program, the food program. Whenever anyone needs anything, help with their cell phone, they come in and there's always someone to help them. So that's what we do well. I think that the programs are of great interest and that we service our clients. Does anyone else have anything to add on
Exactly
that?
what I wrote.
I
Put down that,
I can't talk.
very responsive to requests and suggestions of residents that come in. Heather is always willing to say, let's try it, we'll see if it works or not, go the extra mile. And everyone is always willing to pitch in and help out. I find that definitely a strength at the Acushnet Council on Aging.
And building on Pat, I think that we worked very hard as we have a good team in place. I know we stroke each other in the meetings, but Linda and Jan are always smiling, even when that's really hard on the desk sometimes. Marcel goes the extra effort to kind of come up with different trips. Brad's right there to help. So I just think that we finally have a strong team so we can provide a warm, welcoming. People are nervous when they come in, or I love it when you get an adult child who wants to get mom or dad here, and mom and dad's already got their heels dug in. I'm not hanging out with the old people and bingo, because that's what people think it is.
Yeah.
But, and our tagline really is, if we can get them, we can keep them. So it's hard to get them in the door the first time, but I mean, our retention rate is probably 95% once they try it. So, but I think that's a team effort, and that starts with the board, it starts with our staff, we're fortunate.
And number two
I thought
builds
that
on that.
was,
Yeah.
number 2 was the staff.
Yeah.
Heather, do you have an extra one?
I do.
I left mine.
Oh, I thought you did.
I'll make a copy.
I will grab you a copy. Keep talking.
All right. What are we most proud of?
I think I was the staff that we have in Pressure.
I wrote down friendliness of the staff,
Yes.
and I named Heather and
Can I copy
Patricia.
yours, Max?
I named Janice and myself,
Yeah.
Brad and
I'm gonna make a
yours.
copy.
I think we have a great team here, and I'm very proud of the people that are here.
Yeah, right.
I'm proud of the people on our board too, because, I mean, you're volunteering your time, you're here. I appreciate that, you know.
The culture here at the Council on Aging
Yeah.
is very warm and
Yeah.
inviting.
Yep.
And I think that's felt throughout all parameters.
And the next part she asked about was, what has improved over the years? Mr. Contreras did a fantastic job in opening up this senior center. And what has improved is we now have built on it and we have added more and more and more programs. We are servicing, yes, we are servicing so many people. So we have a lot of programs and servicing people. Does anyone have to add to that?
That's the safety that I think
Safety.
we now have.
Yep. What would you fight to maintain because it's excellent? The
Everything.
exercise programs, oh my word.
Yeah.
I almost said, oh my God, but oh my word. People love them. They're so good for you and they're so diverse, and we have strength training and we have dancing and we have yoga and they're good for people's health as well as their socialization. I think that is I would fight to keep those exercise programs, every single one of them. And the other thing I would fight to keep are small daily trips, not just the casino trips and the big ones, but the little ones in the van. To go here and there, a museum, or just out for ice cream, go out for lunch. Even though we have big casino trips, Marcel does take people once a month to the little casino in Tiverton. And it's just enough for some people, a couple of hours.
In
Pardon?
the restaurants?
The restaurants, they love the restaurants. There's one man here, he asks me every day where they're going next. They just love, I would fight to keep that going, so therefore we need another bus driver, only because Marcel can only do so much. Anybody else have anything to add to number
Segue off
4?
of that, I would say transportation. We definitely need
Yeah.
to maintain the transportation that we have, if
Or
not
increase it.
definitely
Yeah.
increase what we have.
Increase.
That is such a need.
And I think that feeds into, let's look at our weaknesses, because I know that was my
Yes.
number one thing in weakness,
Yes.
is that we have aging vehicles. I mean, we have a 2011 and a 2012 van, so.
I went this week for the first time on the bus to see a doctor, and I must say that I was very, very happy. So, And I think we need more of that, and we can't.
And I think you're right, because we have to refuse all afternoon transportation requests because he stops at 12:30.
So it's time the town knew this.
Yes, and
Now,
that's
get it?
why we're talking about this.
Okay, now most, lights doesn't,
Thank you.
They
They-
do, yeah.
They offer so many a
Right.
year,
that's
but
not-
as their grant runs down or runs out, they have to refuse
Yeah,
also.
okay.
We're all in the same predicament.
Yeah.
They're limiting clients now to just 2 Boston trips.
Really?
Yeah, so it's,
Wow. What about community connections?
I don't know.
there's community connections, people
They
can
seem to have a
also,
lot of vans, because I see them pop there.
yeah, and CERTA has a program too, they offer Boston transportation, but it's limited, it's only Tuesdays and Thursdays
Yeah.
between like 10 and 2, so it's really,
That's really,
if you're seeing a specialist, you could be there all day.
exactly right.
Yeah, so there are options, but they're as limited as we are.
Yeah.
The other topic that I would fight to maintain is this as a meal site. I think it's very important to maintain a meal site here. There are many people that have come in that are very isolated and they find that they can come in here and have a hot meal. It's that socialization that's increased as well.
And also to give
That's very good.
To Coastline kudos, they're slowly rolling out a new program, they're not really advertising it, but some people, our clients are on service, where they have their hot meal here for lunch, and then they help take home soup and a sandwich for dinner. Not everybody's doing that yet, again, they're starting slow and they're building it up, but I think for someone who doesn't have family, or something alone, won't cook, I mean, even if they put the soup in the freezer and use it for the weekends, or, so that's something that they're exploring, I see that expanding, so I think that would be a nice option.
Okay. Do you want to talk about, is this from our own point of view, or if it's a gut feeling or a rumor?
It's basically, this was shooting from the hip. What do you think we do well, what don't we do well? Again, just kind of answering what's rumors, because, that's something we're gonna be talking about, or, it doesn't matter why you have that gut feeling, it's okay to have that gut feeling. And one of the other things that I kind of, as a weakness, is I think that we need to think about eventually expanding our hours. 8 to 4 is great, but what do you do nights and weekends?
Yeah.
But again, that comes down to us being short-staffed.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat only works 18 hours, I only work 35.
Yeah.
Linda and Jan are probably 12 to 15. So, but I think, again, people don't have things to do nights and weekends.
And it would be nice to have, for example, a movie night, instead of putting it in during the day, when we have lots of other activities. Have, especially in the nice weather, like 6 o'clock, come on, have a piece of pizza and watch a movie. That would be nice. And now we have that beautiful screen donated by
That's what I was
Mrs.
just gonna
Forty.
say,
yeah. Or some people are babysitting the grandkids after school, so, but they might want to do an exercise class at 5 or 5:30. So, again, I just think it's something we should keep on the radar.
Well, I know my friend is from the West End, and she comes here. She goes to other places because she has MS, and she actually started coming here. And every time I see her, aren't you signed up yet? Aren't you signed up? I said, I don't have the time right now, but I will be. But she loves it, and she tells everybody about Acushnet.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're getting a very good reputation. And there are other centers in the area who do an excellent job. And I used to always hear their names,
Yeah.
and my back used to go up a little bit, But now
Now
I'm
it's
hearing us,
Yeah.
And I'm glad. I'm glad because we're all servicing clients, from all areas. If you are in New Bedford, you can come here. If you're in Fairhaven, you can come here. If you're in Rochester, you can come here. We're open to all. What can we do to improve?
I was going to say, have you ever thought of having a staff like Rochester does for their breakfast program? Because, Rochester, apparently, they're overwhelmed with their breakfast
But
program.
actually, do you know that Sharon, who's their
Yeah, I
director,
know.
I love her claim to fame.
Yeah.
She's never flipped a pancake.
Yeah,
And because the Lions Club,
Right.
they run it, and we could, if the Lions Club, or we have a good relationship with our VFW, if they wanted to get involved.
only because a lot of these people end up going to Pop Casey's, seriously.
Yeah.
And
Taking
now
that spot.
and Pop Casey's is closing every Monday now,
Right,
and, they're,
Right.
but as I say, it might be something because they would be with people that know.
Yeah. And we have the kitchen to do it.
Yeah.
We really do.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman that comes here every day who really didn't want to come here. He actually told me he'd rather watch TV in his own home. But he comes here every day and he eats here every day. And now I see him talking to everyone. He's like the king of the roost down there. And he eats here. I hear his voice, so he's
Yeah.
getting into discussions. And I don't think he would miss, I think if he ever had to
He
miss
would
it,
have-
have
he
somebody
would.
bring him in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So, and because he's gotten used to it, when
It's just the companionship.
Yeah.
You know, the food is okay,
Yeah.
but it's to be with other
And
people.
breakfast
And
food
we
is not
seniors
hard.
need that,
Yeah, we do.
because otherwise they get stuck in their homes.
Yeah.
And they get into that routine, and it's very difficult to get out.
Mhm.
So once
agree.
that move is made, it's great.
And I know everything costs money, but, you know, breakfast is, I
And
mean,
breakfast isn't that hard. I
no,
mean,
even if you did it every other day, you know. And I mean, the price of eggs, I mean, you can get a dozen eggs for 79 cents, and we could probably get them donated from, you know, the local grocery stores, knowing
Try
what
it
we're
on a
doing.
Monday, seeing as Pops is closed on
Yeah.
Monday.
So if
Seriously,
anybody has
yeah.
a connection with the Lions Club or the VFW and they wanna kinda just put
You know,
that
and
out
I'll
there.
throw it out to Ray Slate. You know, he's,
Lions.
oh yeah, big deal.
Okay, yeah.
I'll throw it out to him.
Tell him we want to be fed on Mondays. That's the day I work.
Okay.
And tell him I like pancakes and bacon. So I'm easy good with that.
Yep.
Okay, what could the center do to improve? We've talked about some of that, but I do have, now this is my own personal little thing, working at the desk. I love being there and the computer being there is very nice and the phone, but sometimes if I want to do something on the computer or if someone else comes in and wants to do something on the computer, the phone's in the way, I would like to see a separated area, but I don't even know how to begin thinking about that. That's something you and I would have to put our heads together on. I would also like to see something happen to that phone system so that all of the calls for the kitchen go to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that we need a longer ringtone because sometimes I'm talking with someone and I pick up the phone and the person is gone. And someone will say to me, oh, I've been calling you all morning and haven't been able to reach you. Well, I've been here, but I've been busy, you know. So maybe if the phone system, we need a new phone system.
And we kind of fell off the radar. Town Hall has this great new phone system. It's automated, which might be a little tricky, but it's pretty basic. I mean, if you want this department, press 1. And I think for us, we take 6 to 8 calls for the kitchen a day. So if office people from Coastline are calling in, they could just push 1 or 2
Yeah,
right to the
exactly.
kitchen. That frees up Jan
Yeah.
or whoever's at the desk, like Linda or I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see Town Hall reevaluate that and maybe
Yeah.
get something similar to what they have.
Yeah.
And we don't have the ability to transfer to other departments.
Mm.
So we actually have to say to somebody, no, I'm sorry, you could
You have
have,
to
if
call
we could
this
save
number,
them
yeah.
that step and say, no, you
Yeah.
know what, you need DPW, let me transfer you.
Yeah.
Like New Bedford has.
Yeah, I just think that's good customer
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. Just yesterday I'm saying, well, the number's almost like ours, but
Yeah.
the last number's different. What should we stop doing?
Nothing. Do a
No.
great job.
Yeah.
I
think
think
so
there's nothing
too.
you should stop with.
Nothing that we stop, just keep improving. What should we stop doing that we should have continued doing? Well, I'll speak up for Maurice and friends in the back room. I guess at one time there were 2 tables in the back room where men could play cards.
Yeah.
Men and women. And then the numbers of people playing dwindled, so we just went to 1 table to give them more room. But now we have a lot of new players coming in.
Yeah.
And Heather has been watching it to see if the numbers are going to dwindle again, because with the nicer weather, people going away, we might not have as many players. But it doesn't seem to me. There seem to be a lot of new players who want to play.
But in addition to that, that poker room is gonna become Pat's office, once we start our construction. So the poker players will be moving into what, I don't know, I haven't seen the schematics for the shower. Right now, I think the poker players will be moving into what's her office, but I'm not sure. We would never get 2 tables into
No.
there. So I think, it's not that we don't want more card players, it's, I don't wanna add something and have to take it away once the shower's complete.
Right,
So it's kind of
We need to build more, right?
We do, we need more room.
More space.
There you go, I like that.
One thing we could use more of, space.
Yes.
We need more space. Either up, not down. Up or out.
Actually, if we go out, our septic system can handle it. We could go up or we could go out.
The only other thing, and I don't know the whole history because I'm relatively new within the year, would be, I know that many of the COAs have a friends group. And I believe that at one time there was a friends group here at the COA. Again, I don't know the history, but it would be nice perhaps if we would have volunteers, and I know that becomes problematic finding volunteers, to resurrect the Friends of Acushnet COA.
It's a legal thing, you have to get, you know, all your legal papers in order.
Yeah, and there was a 501c3
Yeah.
tied to that group, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
not
And
unheard of.
it was done by UMass Dartmouth, I
Yes.
believe, the
Yeah.
lawyers there, but,
And we have all the paperwork, and we have the names and addresses of all the former
Yeah.
members. We have everything. People just were not interested. I would come to a meeting and I would sit here with the treasurer. She and I would look at one another
Yeah.
and, you know,
Sure.
people lost interest. But who knows, that there may be more people out there who would like to get that
But
going.
if we had a little room, the people that I talk to are really upset about the clothes that we used to have so cheap,
Yeah.
50 cents.
Yeah.
And I mean, they all, and people at the garden club say, oh my God, you know, that when we stocked it, and not only them, other people who come in here all the time, because it was so reasonable.
Yeah.
And it was all in good condition.
If we could have maybe like a tent, and in the summer, we could do it outside,
Which
and it wouldn't disturb.
we can't do any fundraising as a town department, it's municipal law that we
Okay,
can't,
why does Dartmouth have one?
they go to their friends group.
Oh,
Friends,
Yeah,
Friends
Maria
group,
Connor runs that
okay.
friends group, that's why they have the,
Oh, I know
the Black
Maria
Goose
Connor, yeah.
and, the one that they had inside, I don't know
Right.
if they have anymore. But even, and now New Bedford's starting one in Hazel, but they have a friends group. So
Okay.
if we had a friends group who would maintain that 501c3, then we could do that,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We'd have to check and see if we could maintain that number.
And they would have, like, we would be hands off on any money, they would have their own account, not a town account, but,
Even 2 days a week like your church does.
yeah. But we
And they've
just
done
need,
fantastic.
we need a core group to kind of just take that ball and run with it. It can't be staff and it can't be board members.
And here at the council, we do not have room to take these things in anymore
Right.
because we have some programs
Yeah,
going
you
on
have
in
no
every room.
place.
No,
We
you
have
need,
no place.
you need a.
And that's what I was saying,
Yeah.
outside in the
Yeah.
We need
summer.
our
So if we
own
had that core
barn.
group who would kind of take that on, everybody wants to help, which is great, and we appreciate, but we just need like a steady group that's
All
gonna
right,
be.
but we have to know, can we transfer the 501c?
Yeah, that
Because
I
it's a
don't know.
long process to get it.
Right,
We actually dropped out and Simon, who was our treasurer, sent them a nice letter and everything. And I'm still getting papers asking me for money.
Yeah.
You know, they
From
just,
the Mass Dartmouth?
no, not,
I
well,
know,
IRS.
yeah, I want the.
Oh, okay.
and it's not a lot of money, it's like $25 a year, you know.
To maintain it?
Yeah, and they keep saying to me like, you haven't paid in 4 years, well, we dropped out 4 years ago, you know.
Would be worth, I think it would be worth it if we could have the room to do it.
Yeah, we don't have any room here. It would have to be something we could do outside.
If we could move
Even a big
Carol
yard
and
sale. We did well in
Oh, remember that first yard sale?
unbelievable.
But again, it would
was
have to be that group.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
it would be, but as I said, we made what, over people,
A couple of thousand.
a couple of $1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it does.
That's just the
If
thought.
we could move Carol and Bob Hall out of their home.
Send them away for the weekend.
No, not for the weekend, forever. No, I mean, I like them very much. Or they could actually be president and vice president of the Friends Group and it could be, we could have that.
Probably would take it.
Yeah.
We don't want much, do you?
No, and that home would, everything would go there and they could handle it and yeah, it'd be fine. But I don't know that they would be willing to.
I think you're in trouble.
I think I am. Cal and Bob, don't watch this. Shut your TV off. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? If you could fix one thing, what would it be?
Increase the size of our building.
And more bus time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the problem is when they added this addition on, they made all these little small rooms. So this room's great, but if you put 16 people in here, it just doesn't work.
Okay, again, consider this from your vantage point and others. Do people seem to perceive weaknesses that we do not see? It's best to be realistic and face any unpleasant truths so we can address them. In all cases, think about what proof you have to support your ideas. Is this a gut feeling? Is it rumor? Is it backed by data? All are okay. Okay, we don't control what happens, but maybe we are able to take advantage of, we don't control them, but we may be able to take advantage of opportunities. What are some of the opportunities facing our center? The fact that people are interested in having a friends group.
Yeah.
If only we could make that work.
And I think the number of new people that we're registering every
I
day.
think
Actually,
that,
you
yep.
can attest to that better.
Oh.
You want to tell them how many new people?
I used to think that I worked with the elderly, but all these people who are much younger than me are coming in now to register. And I have to laugh because I realize that I am the elderly. But a lot of people, every day, 2 and 3 new people
When
coming
you
in.
think about statistics,
Mhm.
10,000 people per day are turning 65.
Yeah.
10,000 people per day are turning 65. So that just says our baby boomers we're coming in full force. We're gonna see a new growth period, we're going to see a new need, so that's a
Constant changes.
challenge, but it's also an
But I-
opportunity.
But I think because we're over 50 and not over 60
Right.
center,
Yes.
I know like my daughter's only 55 and she's retiring.
Yeah.
She, well, as of June, she's retired. But you have that group and they have great ideas.
They
They're-
do.
They're very educated, most of them.
And I think that's gonna be an opportunity for
Yes.
us to really
I
grab
do.
onto these as
That's what I'm saying.
volunteers. That's where I would love to see
Yeah.
our growth, is
Yeah.
getting new volunteers and having that freshness
Yeah.
coming in with
And-
new ideas.
And I think we're well situated to deal with that group too, because that group doesn't wanna play bingo, and they don't
That's
wanna,
exactly right. But
they wanna
have,
travel, and they wanna be doing these exercise class and drumming circles, and so I think we're in a good position.
yeah, like you two people know because you're, well, you're not in that age group yet, but,
Right.
you know.
I took call middle age the other day, I was hurt.
Really?
Yeah,
Middle age,
I did.
middle age is not bad.
Okay, I know, but I just wasn't ready.
Number 5, we kind of covered it in some of our other talks. If you could fix one thing, what
We
would
said
it
the
be?
size of the building.
The size of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking that we're getting so busy, the workers are getting so busy, that there are lots of people out there that would be more than happy to greet people when they're coming in.
We need someone to stand by our little scan machine and have
Help
people
them.
scan. People were scanning all the time.
Yeah.
And they've gotten a little bit, I myself have gotten
Because it's
lazy
so
about it.
busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have somebody just smiling, saying hi, scan.
Yeah.
Out.
Or I'll come in and I see Paulette, we start dabbing,
Yeah.
and automatically we're in our club, we never
That's
stand.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm sure you have so many people, and I'm sure that there are people here that come even for programs that would love to do that.
And I think, to actually.
Even if they came in a half hour earlier than
Right.
their programs, they would
Oh.
have nobody
great idea.
standing
Right.
for hours, but somebody within a
Somebody-
group.
Yeah.
Somebody there for that.
So
particular
increasing our
program.
volunteer opportunities.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Walmart greeter. We could
That's
get
right.
little stickers for them.
It's welcoming, it's nice to be greeted as you're going in the door.
yeah,
And
it
if
is.
you're on the phone, you can't say hello to the person coming in the door.
I've seen this place and it's so busy and there's everybody everywhere. So I think it's a good idea. And I like the idea of each person from each group
Yeah.
being there at the time and read,
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the same person within that group. They could say, okay, Patty, you're
You're day,
this
next
week,
day,
Maria,
right.
yeah, you're next week, and
I think that would
It's
be
a great idea.
Yeah.
I had put something down about getting volunteers back in here. That was some,
Yeah.
not a lot, but a few that we can really count on, reliable,
Yeah.
that this is your day,
Yeah.
every Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4. And that way, if you two needed to get together to talk about clients,
Yeah.
you would know somebody else was there beside Jan or I. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
What are the interesting trends that you are aware of? Travel. Travel, travel,
I'm
travel.
gonna segue on this a little bit, I'm kind of a pilot. For those of you who follow us on social media, we've age-friendly, we've dementia, we've covered all those topics. Bullying is an issue that's rearing its head. There was an issue in the schools recently, it was all over social media, people were talking about, bullying happens here though too, and at housing, and it happens amongst adults, not just children. So Pat and
Oh,
I
yeah,
kind
the
of.
adults are almost worse than the
Oh,
children.
yeah, we all, yeah, and I think whether it's something subtle like rumors or it's, you know what I mean? And we haven't had any physical happening, thank goodness, but I think it's something that we need to nip in the bud now. So Pat and I have kind of decided that this is gonna be the topic that we're gonna tackle first as part of Age Friendly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let her pick it up because she did come up with a survey, that you're gonna be
Oh, good.
seeing.
Yeah.
It's still in draft
Do
form.
that.
No, I came up with this survey, we're in the process of fine tuning it and whatnot. We're hoping to be able to distribute it at the local farmers market. We're going to have it at the health fair, which we'll have Friday. A couple of other places will be available on our town website eventually. But gathering this data, because we need the data to find out what's happening in our particular community. When I looked at the research, nationwide, it's definitely 50% of individuals are saying in some shape or form they are being harassed or they're being bullied by their peers. So this is peer-to-peer, we're not talking about elder abuse, we're talking about peer-to-peer bullying. Whether you don't save seat for someone at bingo, or you're name calling, or you're just inappropriate with someone, it happens. And there's many reasons that it happens. Mean children become mean adults, but also as we age, we can get bitter and angry and we can lash out at other people.
I see a lot of it at presidential parents.
And some people from there have approached us about this. And I don't think people realize that words hurt. And you know what I mean? And just if I start a rumor about Pat that I think is true because Paulette told me, but it's not true, and that's gonna be
And then it
back.
spreads and it changes.
Yes.
Exactly. So we will be seeing the survey. We'll try to get that as soon as possible for you to review as well. But we are going to be moving forward on this.
Fantastic.
And that's
Very
one of the
good.
things, we have no subcommittees right now, so I think that maybe a bullying task force is
Yeah.
something that we wanna think about. And how do we wanna launch this? Do we wanna do a rally? Do we wanna do a walk? Do we wanna do a workshop? So just kind of start thinking about how you would see this being promoted at housing, at historical society things, in the card room, at the garden club, because you know what? We're all experiencing it, so let's put our heads together
And I
and,
think first thing, you should have someone to come here and speak about bullying.
Like a workshop.
yeah.
That would be the first
Yeah,
thing.
because it happens to be a personal thing,
Yeah,
that one piece the person thinks is right and the other
Yeah,
person thinks is
exactly.
right. And
Yeah.
that we have to find out how to control that ourselves.
Yeah.
So we need somebody professional
Absolutely.
to teach us how to do that.
and as I say, people would get more insight into how to solve it if they knew the whole
Exactly.
concept of bullying.
There are some great resources out there. There are some webinars that I've been looking
Yeah.
at. There are some speakers available.
That's
So
right.
I will follow up on that and get something lined up. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll have more information at
I
next
would
month's meeting, and
Yeah.
maybe we can kind of decide who wants to champion what and who wants to take on what
Okay.
part of it. Okay, I just
great.
get off topic, but we just kind
No,
of
that's
into it.
good.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
fit right in. That's an interesting trend. Unfortunate, well,
Right. I think we're also having more savvy seniors.
That's
That
what it
are
is.
definitely,
Yeah.
they're very savvy, they know what they want, it's not your typical Mrs. Cleaver type COA any longer, and people don't want to be considered old, the whole concept of ageism. So for someone to be called a senior, what do we call, what's the correct, politically correct term? Is it an older
Change that
adult,
today.
is it senior? So I think people are much more savvy that are coming aboard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
okay. Threats tend to be the things that happen to us around us. We don't control them, we react to them. It's important not to dwell on the unfairness or the misery of the threat, but rather to state it, think about ways to overcome and minimize it, and that's what we just talked about with the bullying.
Yes.
Okay. Threats. What demands are being placed on us?
I went back to the need for transportation. That's where I
Yeah.
keep going back to the dire need for transportation.
Always looking for grants is one of the things I wrote.
And I put an increased need for outreach services, and Pat does a fabulous job, but I think we need to recognize the fact that she never stays within that 18 hours. I know she'll tell you she will, but she's always emailing from home and taking phone calls, and so she's grant funded, she's funded through ARAW, so I think one of the conversations that we need to start having, they're having some changes right now in their staffing.
Yeah.
Once they've settled, I think we need to have a conversation with them about maybe increasing her hours, or how we can do that. So I just think that's something, again, that we need to have, I think first of all, we need to acknowledge that, you know, she's amazing, she always steps up to the plate, she's
We
always
do.
there for us, but that we don't wanna burn her out,
Yeah.
so that's something that we need to kind of keep on the radar.
We have to keep her all set for Friday evenings.
So yes, for me, VFW should hire her as
Should
a
we go around
marketing
with
person.
signs outside?
Yeah.
What new demands are being placed on our staff? Just the fact that we have more clients. It's very busy, that's all.
And word is out that we're both trying certified, so those calls are coming fast and furious.
But what nice people.
Oh, Lydia knows everyone who comes
No,
in.
no, I'm meeting former teachers, I'm meeting parents, grandparents, and everybody really is so nice.
Did you have a gift for that?
Well, for bringing out the niceness in others. Is that why you're so good? Did I bring it out of you? I just bring it right out of you.
Yes, you draw it out.
What new demands are being placed on our facility? The
More
wall, the
space.
walls are like more than we need.
Yes.
And I think
Roads.
aging issues with our building too.
Yes.
Our windows are so drafty, our floors, I mean, they're not getting better with age, so I just think the age, this building was redone in 1999 and has had no real major renovations since. Except for the
We're
roof.
not gonna get both. we're not gonna get more space and
No, we're not, but I just think we just need to keep it all on the radar, we just need to, I think it's one of those, throw everything against the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
So,
I'll invite the town fathers to come down. That's what you should
well, the
do.
heat's on 76, but it's not warm in the building yet, we've had those days.
And it's funny, when people do come in, they don't see the little flaws that we see. They love it here. They say,
come to enjoy.
it's so bright and cheery in here, and they like it. People like it here. You know, we need to point out the flaws. Yes, but look at that crack in the floor.
Not gonna see that.
No.
And that's nice, because people treat it like their home, so
Yeah.
they're just happy to be there.
Yep. Is there a sustainability threat factor that we can continue to support our center without making major changes?
See, I said no, I think we've been very smart in the grants that we've obtained. We depend on funding that we know is more than likely not gonna go away. Our formula grant from the state, our ARAW funding, that never go away. So I think we've been pretty practical, and maybe sometimes that's why we haven't expanded, because maybe monies were available, but we knew they weren't long-term monies. That just kind of, but I don't know if anybody else had
I
any
put
thoughts.
there are always changes that we have to
Yeah.
meet.
Absolutely.
Just being aware.
But you
Being
know,
aware.
just knowing, you know, like, all right, maybe next year, you wanna replace so many windows. You know, don't go,
Exactly.
you know, like, these are fairly new windows, but, you know, like, some of them aren't. And just
Yeah.
say, okay, you know, this only needs 1 or 2 windows.
Exactly.
And if you have a grant that's not gonna come back, at least you've got
Yeah.
a thing that the windows are done.
Or maybe doors that open up automatically.
That would be
We got a lot of
expensive.
things.
Yeah, that's expensive
Yeah,
because
very.
of the electrical, but I'm like, as I say, if you ever could do that and you could get, I know an electrician and I'm sure he'd volunteer. I know 2
On that
electricians.
presidential, we have a sign for handicap, you just push it and the door opens
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Something like that would
The
be
towns
really
have
great,
that,
either, I
absolutely.
think.
Yeah,
For more than just the seniors.
I mean, I was gonna ask you, when I first started, the first time, the Historical Society renovated the Mason Burt sign that's over, you know the green sign that's over the door?
Okay,
It needs work again, so I didn't know,
it's not the society, it's the commission.
oh, it was the commission, okay, so I didn't know if that's something that you'd be interested in looking at again,
Uh,
or, somebody brought it to my attention the other day, I thought I would ask
About
you.
school. What about,
whole colony.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an
You
option
can
too.
try to get Old Colony.
I just kinda wanna put it on your radar, I mean, it's nothing detrimental.
Yeah, I'm having the same struggles with the museum. You know, I had gotten 3 prices to have all the windows replaced in the building because they're the old original windows, 1875. So you know they gotta go. But Mass Historical stepped in and said I could not change any of the wooden windows inside. The only thing I can do is I can replace the storms because there is storms on the building which have been there for years. So I can replace those. But by the time everything went through, it was too late. I couldn't do it for this year.
Yeah.
So next year I'm gonna try again.
Yeah.
You know.
what about someone that has that and does it all the time, comes in and puts new windows in? And if you went to something that was out,
It's been 10 years.
they no longer used,
Just kinda some
and yet they were still good.
It's the
It
size.
won't be pictures.
See, it's the
I'll
size
put
of
it on
the
those teacher at Oak
Yeah, because
Colony.
those are big.
No, I mean, these graphic arts,
Yeah,
but still, you know,
I'm getting-
I was just thinking they might
Yeah.
have something like that that you
Yeah.
could.
I'll talk to them. My son has to do.
I've talked to Henry
picture.
Young about grants, and he's applied for a grant every year through Mass Historical to do a little repairs on the building. We never get it. We didn't get it again this year in March.
Train station.
No, we don't even get the grants.
There's not enough
Okay.
interest, do you think?
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough money.
Oh.
Too many people are applying.
Okay.
Okay, and there's not enough funding.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up that part on new business on our discussion. I think that was a good discussion. It needs to be continued and worked on. I'm gonna give my notes to Heather, and in his spare time, he can do what he needs to do. Before I read a letter of resignation, Pat has something that she needs to share with us so that she can get back to her clients.
Okay, first of all, I just want to thank the Board of Selectmen and the Town Administrator for placing my request on the May 7th Selectmen meeting agenda. But I learned a valuable lesson. I need to always check my availability prior to my submitting a request. regarding an issue. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the selectmen's meeting last evening because I was actually at the Mass Conference on volunteerism in Worcester. So I would just like to make this aware now, seeing as it's a time-sensitive issue, that the month of May is considered Older American Month. And Governor Charlie Baker actually signed a proclamation, which I have here and I will share with everyone. It's very, very nice if you want to pass this around. And it just goes on to say how wonderful the older Americans are that serve our communities. And again, I just want to let everyone know that the month of May is Older Americans Month. And there's many things on this proclamation that definitely lead to what we're doing here at the Acushnet Council on Aging. We have become age-friendly, we are dementia-friendly, we have a very active memory cafe. The theme for Older Americans Month is to connect, create, and contribute, all of which we do here at the Acushnet Council on Aging. And just a reminder to join us at our health fair tomorrow, Friday, May 10th, from 10 to 2 at the Fairhaven Rec Center. And also our SWOT analysis is fitting in right with the proclamation that Charlie Baker had to say about the positive aging of vision in our community. And because the proclamation also talks about critical programs such as senior nutrition programs, we have a very active meal site here. And he also talks about preventing malnutrition. So we do have Malnutrition Week coming up, which will be next week, Wednesday, May 15th at 12 noon. We will be having a program here that Linda will further discuss. So again, this is a proclamation that was set out by Charlie Baker. It does have throughout the nation. But again, I just want to say thank you to all our older Americans that serve our
Everything
community.
that we talked about.
It really is. It's a
That's why
wonderful
it ties
wrap
so
up.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that
Thank
with
you
us.
for all the work.
Yeah. Okay, before I talk about Malnutrition Awareness Week, I want to read a letter from Rick DeBalsi. Rick was a member of the board for approximately a year or two. To whom it may concern, I am resigning from the board of directors at the Acushnet Council on Aging. I enjoyed the experience of my time on the board. I feel that I am not active enough to share my input. My age and health keep me from being more involved. Thank you, Richard DeBalsi.
Too bad.
Yeah,
But we want to thank him for his time that
Yes,
he did put in,
yes.
and he will be missed.
yes. And he can stop in and visit us
Absolutely.
and in the blue room anytime he would like. Malnutrition Week. Malnutrition Awareness Week. We don't want people to think that they have to be malnourished that week now. Wednesday, May 15th at 12 o'clock. Are you or a loved one experiencing any of the following? Unplanned weight loss, loss of appetite, not able to eat, or only able to eat small amounts, feeling weak or tired, having swelling or fluid accumulation? These may be signs of malnutrition. Join us at the Acushnet Council on Aging for Malnutrition Awareness Week activities to learn more. There will be nutrition education, malnutrition screening, a takeaway snack, and a free on-site yogurt parfait bar with the fixings provided by Coastline registered dietitians. That yogurt bar, it's almost like a Sunday bar. It's really good. And
I'm looking at it and
Yeah.
I think I should come.
If you want to post it at your place, feel free, I can give you an extra.
so that's next week. It'll be here before you know it. We'll have it posted here. We'll have some flyers on the counter. You can see the yogurt bar. There's more to it than just this stuff.
And I think one of the important things is we think malnutrition and we maybe jump to people who can't afford food, but it really can be people who do have a fully stocked fridge but aren't eating correctly. Like maybe you're hitting the carbs too much or those, So it's not necessarily just because people can't afford food, it's just because maybe they need to change their diet. And so we're gonna be looking at all of that and then we're gonna feed everybody. So if you have a chance to join us on the 15th at 12 o'clock, please do so.
Okay. The 15th is what day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
okay. Change in hours for the van driver position.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So as we talked of we have a huge demand for transportation. Marcel was hired for 19 and a half hours a few years back. he was consistently going over those hours, not his fault, I mean, he's great, but because it's a non-benefited position, we have to make sure that he stays under those 20 hours. So he's now working Tuesday through Friday, to stay within that time range. Mr. Noble has an ad suggestion, so we can hire a driver for Mondays. I haven't heard back yet, but hopefully that's something we'll pursue. Town meeting appropriated the extra funds for us to pick up a per diem driver, so it won't cost us anything extra. We kind of anticipated this happening. So hopefully we'll have someone new to introduce to you at the next meeting.
That would be great. That would be great. All right, preparing for Medicare presentation, Monday, June 3rd. Medicare.
The board had requested that, we ran that program last fall, we ran it again in the evening in April, and I know the board had asked that we run it again. So we targeted the evening group, and we had a good response. Pat helped out that night. We had about 20 participants, I think that's fair to say. So we just want to run it for people who maybe aren't able to have transportation or weren't able to drive at night, so it'll be at 1 o'clock on the 3rd. It'll be about, when to sign up for Parts A and B of Medicare, the difference between an Advantage plan and a Medigap plan, and all that good stuff that is so confusing. It's not a sales pitch. Fallon will be helping us out. Blue Cross has helped us in the past. So Fallon won't sign anybody up that day. They're not giving a sales pitch. They just happen to be hosting the presentation.
Now, if they an HMO, like an Advantage plan, Fallon?
They could be.
They could be. And what's nice is, they have a dedicated staff member who will do mass health applications for people.
Fallon.
Yeah. So it's really great. So we can refer, so we really don't have a ton to do with mass health. We do it, but we don't. So we could refer to Fallon.
My next question, do you have a list of physicians who accept it? Because I know recently, there was a good plan out there, and when you went to hospital, we don't take that plan.
For Fallon or for mass health?
No, Mass Health, everybody
Yeah,
by
right.
state law
Yeah, yeah.
has to, or
Yeah.
else you don't get, you
Right.
can't renew your license, but no, for Fallon, for
Yeah.
these Advantage plans,
Yeah.
they're great and they help a lot of seniors, but a lot of physicians won't take it because of the pay.
Right, and same thing with South Coast, a few of the South Coast docs are no longer accepting Fallon, we've dealt with that. We can get you a list, I'm sure that we could get you a list that day, so
Okay,
that's
because
definitely.
people, call and ask me, and I say, you have to call the doctors because they change all the time.
Yeah.
Whoever owns the group.
And you can go right on their website too, if you have a specific
Yeah.
doc in mind, and just kind of plug them in to see
Yeah.
if they're accepted. Blue Cross does that, Fallon, all the websites
Yeah.
have that, that's kind of nice too, if people have computers.
Well, I think we've done quite a bit today.
We did.
Our next meeting is going to be on Wednesday, June 12th. This one came rather quickly because we were 1 week late last month, and it seemed early this month. There wasn't much time in between. So Wednesday, June 12th at 10 o'clock in the Blue Room here at the Acushnet Council on Aging. May I please have a motion to close the meeting?
Make a
Thank you.
motion.
And a second, Pauline, thank you. And we are over and out.